So I know you don't have a lot of time. I just want to introduce you to this topic that maybe you have covered with Rachel. That is what happened when you send a grant and what is the most important thing that you have to do. So you have to have a good CV, and also there is a merit of a proposal. So your proposal will be assessed based on the originality and the innovation. And here I show you an example. So for example, in a good good proposal will be something that have a high impact. So for example, here you can see the law of gravity proposed by Newton, and something that it will have a lower impact is to test the same idea with oranges, or to have the same idea with pineapples, or you know, eh, anything that you can imagine. And these have a good size because it produces more innovation. However, it can also produce bad things. And let me see if I can show you what John Oliver criticized that idea.
Studies can get flukish results. And the best process that science has to guard against that is the replication study, where other scientists redo your study and see if they get similar results. Unfortunately, that happens way less than it should.
Replication studies are so rarely funded and they're so underappreciated. They never get published. No one wants to do them. There's no reward system there in place that enables it to happen. So you just have all of these exploratory studies out there that are taken as fact, that this is a scientific fact that's never actually been confirmed.
Exactly. There is no reward for being the second person to discover something in science. There's no
So, and if you want, you can go to YouTube when you have time and watch it all. It's very interesting, and it's something that the agencies of grant agencies are reconsidering how important is innovation. So,
studies can get
uh,
flukish.
so in other words, so if somebody make a, and this happened many times, that somebody has a great crazy idea with fancy words, but it's not real, like the anti-gravitational waves using pigeons. Yeah, something that it doesn't make sense. We need replication studies, and this is a problem that we have. But however, remember that originality and innovation, it will be something that you will be evaluated in any grant that you will have to send. So in addition to the that your project is original and has an innovation, there are things that you have to make sure that you explain the significance and the expected contributions to science. And also it has to have clarity in the scope of the objectives, and it has to have the right methodology. And remember that it has to be possible to do. Yeah. So here, maybe you have heard about this lady that she got money from billions of dollars, and she was proposing to to revolutionize clinical analysis and only use a drop of blood to detect any disease, hundreds of diseases, and she was creating this machine. The only problem that it was that after years they realized that it was not possible and that she was faking the results. And of course, she didn't got money from a science agency. She from a grant agency. She got it from rich people that they didn't know about science. So she sounds very convincing, and even she dressed as the people as the guy from Apple to promote these ideas that they were so good and modern, but actually they were not true. So remember, these you have to have these three topics very clear in your application, and it has to be very summarized. Things that are not going to be included in this project, but they're included now in grants, is that if you, when we took genetic revolution, you realize maybe that most of the scientists were white men. Now this is trying to change. So there are now we are trying to consider diversity as an important factor to give funding to people. And also, our thing that you have to think about for this project is what is your budget that they will evaluate that, and if you have other funding. But in your case, you don't have to write about this. You have to talk about the previous. So I know you're very busy, so you have the maximum that you have to write here is 5 pages. You can write less, and the list of reference you can take it from your paper. But this is something that if you're going to apply for a fellowship to a grant agency, you will have. I just want that you start thinking about the thing that you will need, and instead of start writing everything right away because it's just too overwhelming. I just want that you start thinking about this and write it in one sentence. And when you finish writing that, we can meet and you can start writing your proposal. So these are some of the questions. And in one sentence, I want that you start trying to think about these things. So there are things that you have to provide a methodology of the new thing that you want to do. Here, the budget is not necessary, but you can start thinking in one sentence all these kind of things. So I will show you 3 more pages of things that you have to write, and we can meet anytime that you have time for 10 or 15 minutes and discuss about it. Here are more questions and more questions. And remember, everything is going to be very small and summarized, so you can think about it and we can meet. Okay, have a good day, and we will be in contact. Bye.